Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield and joined with Ken and Scott from the Crystal Method. Once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
It's been close to a year, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's happened since Vegas came out. It's almost been a year now since the album came out, and it's sold steadily and built quite a strong fan base that you already had, but it's really gone even further now with all the touring. In the beginning, of course, you put out a lot of 12 inches, and it was the whole club thing. Is the club scene still a big focus of yours and still a big priority?
Well, we still play at some raves, really good rave promoters that do really good, consistent ones, and for the most part, we are playing a cross between more traditional concert venues with open seating, where we kind of bring some of the rave culture into these venues that don't typically have them, and then we still play the odd rave now and again.
Yeah, well, it's cool though. And let's talk about you've recently done a soundtrack for a Sony PlayStation game, which I think is pretty cool. It's called Nitrous Oxide. Tell me how that whole thing came about.
Well, we had contributed some songs to a previous game called FIFA 98, and at that point we really started getting into the whole Sony PlayStation thing. We used to spend so much time in the studio, we had no time to really play any of the, really catch up on the technology of today. And so
now they're on the back of a bus a lot of times.
Yeah. So Fox Interactive, the company who put that game together, called us up, called our management up, and said that they really wanted us to come down and check out this game that they were working on, and they wanted to see if we were into contributing some songs to enhance the game. And we went down to the Nakatomi Plaza.
It's great when Fox has you come down. Their building is that Die Hard building.
Right. Oh, that's right. The legendary Die Hard building.
And we walked in, and they had the game all set up and played our music while we sat there and played the game, and it seemed to work really well. It's like a 90s version of Tempest. Really fun game where there's
shooting bugs.
You just go out and shoot bugs. It's not it's not one of those games where you go out and cut somebody's head off.
Yeah.
It's more of a
little more peaceful.
Yeah,
you're
shooting bugs and scorpions and things like that.
Sounds cool. We have more to talk about with the guys from Crystal Method, but right now, the new video from Pearl Jam. It's an amazing video. And by the way, Eddie, it's time for you to come and do 120 minutes.
Come on, Ed.
You got to do it. Absolutely. You and Stone and Mike, everybody. Jeff, you should come down and do 120 minutes because this is a music show and you love to talk music, so do it. Anyway, from the album Yield, it's Do the Evolution on 120 Minutes tonight. So that was 12 rounds with Pleasant Smell on 120 Minutes, and I know Clint Mansell did some remixing for them, Pop Weed itself, which is very cool. Anyway, Matt Pinfield here, and I'm talking with Ken and Scott from the Crystal Method. Again, it's good to have you back now. You are still doing remixing stuff, which is great. You still find time in with all your touring. You recently did a remix, I think, of Paranoid from Garbage. And you've actually been touring with them. In fact, you were celebrating your birthday, Scott, about a week or so ago with them in Toronto.
In Toronto. It was very sweet. We did a few shows we did one show in Paris and I think 5 shows in England supporting them recently, and those shows went really, really well. And we're huge fans of Garbage. They're the sweetest people. You have Butch Vig, who, produced, 2 of the biggest,
like our hero producer, engineer.
Rock albums over the last 10, 15 years.
Nevermind and Siamese Dream, right?
Yeah, Nevermind and Siamese Dream. And of course, all the stuff that they've done together as Garbage has been awesome. And Shirley's she's just beautiful.
And amazingly talented.
Yeah, and it's like when you hear that someone's asked for you to play with them, and you hear that they're other fans or whatever. You're not sure. You're just thinking, oh yeah, sure, whatever, And then we met them. They're like huge fans, and they asked us to do the remix and everything. So it was great.
Yeah. So we got in Toronto about a week ago, and it was my birthday, and we did an interview with some radio station, and they were like, yeah, Butch was just over here talking, just saying how much he loved you guys and how great you guys were, and we're like, wow, that's amazing. And then we were just sitting in our dressing room, and they came by to do a couple shots of Jose Cuervo with us before they went on stage. And they came in and sang happy birthday to me, which I thought was, the sweetest thing. And so, the remix that we did for them, we really enjoyed, and they really liked it also.
That's great. People should definitely look for that. We'll be back with the guys from the Crystal Method in just a bit, but in the meantime, check out the top 10 singles in America in alternative music this week. Hey, welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, still hanging out with my special guests, Ken and Scott from the Crystal Method. Now, Busy Child, I mean, like a lot of the other great songs you guys know, it started out like as a white label 12-inch and has just gotten not only on the album Vegas, but it's done so well. It was on the Boston Space soundtrack. It was on the first AMP album as well, and now it's part of a Gap commercial, Sing Khakis Back. Were you surprised at how much mileage you guys have gotten out of this song?
Incredibly. I mean, that single came out right before the album came out. It was, you know, lead into the album. So it's over a year old, really. And, you know, at the time, radio just really wasn't open to playing either us or that song for whatever reason. But just through all the touring and everything we've done, all of a sudden it's like a brand new single and everyone's playing it. So it's pretty cool.
That's a cool thing, though.
That's great, yeah.
Now, let's talk about Trixie Reese, who's, you know, been touring with you guys, doing some songs and sings on Coming Back, which is the next single off the album. How did you hook up with her? Let's hear about her background.
Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, we received this tape from a mutual friend. It was just Trixie and her digital delay.
A really bad one.
A really bad digital delay. And it was all vocal. It was like all vocals. It was a 4-track thing that she put together, and it was all the instrumentation. Everything was
just her voice.
Just
her voice.
It was acapella. And it was
but it was like weird textures, all these like minor third harmonies.
Was it kind of like the Cocteau Twins, Liz Fraser kind of thing?
But without any, you know, distorted guitars or anything.
You know? It was beautiful, and we thought, wow, it would be amazing if we could somehow do something with this. And so we brought her to our studio 5 years ago, and we cut the vocals for Coming Back, which turned out to be the same vocals that you hear today and on the single and on the version of on Vegas. They just sounded so great that we decided to leave them alone. And at the time that we had her in California about 2 years ago, we cut Jaded, which is another track that she sang on an album. And she's a really, really talented young lady who I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot more from in the near future.
That's great. It's so cool that you supported her and gave her a shot like that. Right now, let's check out one of your videos from the album Vegas. It's also available on the Lost in Space movie soundtrack. It's the Crystal Method. We're with me right now. This is Busy Child on 120 Minutes. Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield. I'm still here with Ken and Scott from the Crystal Method. Now, people that have seen you live realize it's not the stereotypical show of a band who uses a lot of electronic and instrumental things and music translates well in clubs, because you do the full-on, I mean, you play chord progressions, excuse me. I mean, you play live. I mean, that's one of the things because you were, I mean, always into different types of music, right?
I think it's more because when we decided to play live, we were checking out all the other acts that were, you know, doing similar types of music and how they were presenting it, and we just felt that we wanted to do our shows more of a live performance, people playing their instruments or playing the things that you hear or that looks like they're playing it, instead of the, you know, what's that guy doing behind the screen?
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz approach, you know? Yeah. So we've just always, you know, because I think I think people, when they go to see acts and they don't know what's going on up there, and as far as they know, it's just, you know, playback of a CD, you know, I think that's not really a performance. So we just try to make everything a live performance.
That's great. Now, you're going to do this thing called the Zen Festival coming up in Zephyrhills, Hills, Florida, where they make that's one of the water, where they get the water. And which is cool. You're there with Wink, and you're there with DJ Kyoki and a lot of other people.
That's one of the stops on our tour that 29 dates in 33 days. At Lunatic Common, a great DJ out of Los Angeles, Taylor, supporting us throughout the tour. And we hit Zen Festival, which has been 18,000 people, I think they had last year. And we're excited.
Yeah.
It should be a good tour.
It'll be excellent. And you're going to the studio to record for the South Park soundtrack. We really can't mention the names of the people, but it looks like a pretty intense collaboration.
A pretty weird combination.
That's cool.
It should be fun, though.
Yeah, look forward to that.
That'll be excellent. Great show, so the soundtrack should be cool as well. Thanks for coming by. It was great to have you again.
Thanks, man.
It was good to have you. Ken, Scott, very cool. Thanks, man. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the Crystal Method's album, Vegas. Try to catch them on tour when they hit a city near you. Now, right now, we have Marilyn Manson's latest video. It's from the forthcoming album, Mechanical Animals. Great album cover, by the way, which will be in stores on September 15th. Now, I recently had a conversation with Marilyn. We talked quite a bit, and we're talking about Diamond Dogs, the Bowie album, being one of his darkest records. It came out back in 1974. And this song has a feel to that. It reminds me a lot of that stuff. And, of course, Marilyn recently covered Golden Years by Bowie on the Dead Man on Campus soundtrack. Good version of that. So check that out if you get a chance, too. Anyway, here's the video for The Dope Show from Marilyn Manson. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Good to have you.